Are we really losing it over Genshin? Hey! Welcome to my channel everyone, I'm the globalcherry and I'll be discussing the Genshin Impact English VA problem. There's a lot to cover, so let's jump right in. The Genshin VA situation has been unfolding for a while, and with every new detail I'm left with more questions than answers. So, how did this all begin? It reportedly started when Emergency Food revealed she hadn't been paid for over 6 months by Formosa Studio, as well as other voice actors. While Hoyoverse had fulfilled its obligations to the studio, the strike soon followed after moving VAs to a new studio. In his video, Joe Zija explains that SAG AFTRA's strike targets union games made by union signatories, with union actors prohibited from working on struck titles unless those companies sign an interim agreement. These agreements aim to secure protections like safeguards against AI voice replication or better working conditions. But Hoyoverse wasn't one of the struck companies, and Genshin wasn't a union project. Despite all this, some voice actors had the spirit to push Hoyoverse into signing an interim agreement to make Genshin a union job. Technically, Genshin VAs aren't on strike. They're participating in a collective work refusal, not tied to any union. There's no penalty for choosing not to participate. Some actors have stopped working but returned after a few weeks, while others were recast for holding out. Paimon's VA, Corinna Boettger, didn't help her case with her controversial Crashout TikTok, where she called fans idiots for trusting YouTubers.
They have more of an incentive to lie because idiots like you fall for their shit and they get paid for that.
She claimed they didn't understand the industry, but let's not forget Sino and Sayu's VAs are also YouTubers. As someone who deeply respects voice actors, I can still see that public drama like this only alienates their supporters. Things escalated further when Kinich was recast with Jacob Takanashi. Rather than a warm welcome, some VAs resented him, feeling he took John Patinage's job. Patinage, the old VA, later explained that he hadn't worked for months because Hoyo refused to offer AI protections in a SAG interim agreement. Suddenly, this all makes sense considering his character had limited screen time. Ororon and Mizuki, however, have full lines because they're voiced by actors inside Global, a Tokyo-based studio unaffected by the strike. Hoyoverse's agreements with Chinese and Japanese voice actors are more standardized with AI protections in their contracts. For English VAs, AI protection clauses were likely included through collaborations with studios like Sound Cadence. In times like these, many voice actors fear being replaced by AI, but people can still replace them. While players might not understand what it's like to be a voice actor, they'll certainly notice when their favorite characters fall silent, and I'm no voice actor myself. The first one to move is gay! The fear of AI is understandable, but could their issues have already been resolved? As of January 2025, California's AB 2602 law prohibits creating a digital replica of an actor's voice without consent in their contract. This law only applies in California and doesn't prevent voices from being used for training models or voice blending. Many actors still feel vulnerable. If Hoyoverse violated contracts to create AI replicas, individual actors would need to sue with legal representation. A union contract would provide legal support from SAG, saving actors from defending themselves alone. Hoyo could sign a contract to resolve this, and SAG would love Genshin to become a union project. In that case, in right-to-work states, non-union actors wouldn't be directly affected, but if Hoyo moves forward with unionizing, non-actors in other states would have to join the union, likely through a Taft-Hartley agreement. This would allow them to work union jobs for 30 to 60 days before needing to pay union dues or face exclusion from the union projects. Not all actors are eager to join SAG. Corinna was in fact forced to join to continue working on SAG projects.
So when you did get to LA, how did you get into SAG?
I was forced into it.
The $3,000 entry fee can be a financial barrier, and while there are options to pay it off, that's only possible if you have a steady stream of union work. To qualify for health, pension, and retirement benefits, an actor needs to make about $30,000 per year from union work, roughly 35 Genshin recording sessions. Paimon could achieve that. She never shuts up, so she might as well get paid for it. For lower profile actors, going union doesn't guarantee more opportunities, and without steady quality work, it's hard to recoup the cost of membership. Joining SAG was also set to give the union influence over future casting decisions. Under Global Rule 1, union members can't take non-union work despite 80% of voiceover jobs being non-union. Union projects can't hire non-union actors unless through a Taft-Hartley exception. Non-union actors on Genshin may find their time severely restricted before being required to join the union, and even paying the fee doesn't guarantee union membership. While Corinna claimed that non-union actors would be paid more under union rules, that's not always true, especially for those early in their careers. Interestingly, Kayli Mills, the voice of Kinich, confirmed they're already paid union rates. She also claimed no union actor should ever work non-union, but that happens all the time. The union has largely ignored this field until recently. Sayu mentioned that some VAs were able to still record after switching studios. Meanwhile, Ether's VA, a SAG member, stated that you can't work with any company that hasn't signed a SAG interim agreement, regardless of the studio. Joe Zija even mentioned that going against SAG could get you blacklisted. So while the rules are strict, the reality is more complicated. Jacob was called a scab for undermining the strike by taking work that striking workers had stopped doing. Scabs would be union members working despite the strike, a non-union worker taking jobs normally, going to union members, or a union member switching to non-union status to take struck work. However, Jacob doesn't fit into any of those categories. He has no ties to American unions and is based in Japan, which has strong AI protection laws. He has no obligation to participate in the strike. Since this isn't a formal union strike, there are no penalties for choosing to work. Still, taking a role during a strike can carry professional risks, especially regarding reputation and future opportunities. If actors criticize Jacob for taking the role, the same logic could apply to Corinna, who's still working on Genshin. As a FI Corps member, she's not a full SAG AFTRA member. She pays dues but doesn't receive all union benefits, and she's legally allowed to work on both union and non-union projects during a strike. It's still not fair to treat a colleague like that. Kayli Mills also made assumptions about Jacob's financial situation, suggesting his wife is the breadwinner and that he didn't need the job to survive. But she doesn't know him. A creator, Rainyflex, pointed out a video where Capitano's VA said he auditioned under a fake title, unaware it was for Genshin. It's likely Jacob simply accepted the role unaware of the controversy, but Kinich's recasting sparked fear among VAs that more recasts would follow. If that's the case, let's recast Paimon. Ajo has proven to me that companions don't have to be as annoying.
You think you're the boss of...
The situation blew up in the Chinese community, with some suggesting the English voice actors, especially Paimon, should be replaced. They even came up with creative insults, describing her as a desperate mouse trapped under a piece of bread slowly becoming a sandwich. Even if a contract is signed, can we be sure SAG will deliver on its promises for AI protection? Paimon's VA claimed it would, but the details could vary depending on the contract. Joe Zija mentioned Hoyoverse has the legal and financial resources to navigate contract negotiations. So why haven't they signed one yet already? A tweet also mentioned that SAG struck a deal with AI company Replica Studios, which could open the door for voice theft regardless. Negotiations with a multi-billion-dollar company like Hoyoverse will take time. To top it all off, Corinna later claimed the Crashout video was AI, after Noah Gibson, a Twitter user, expressed support for her but disagreed with her TikTok. But the video was still posted on her TikTok, and Noah linked it to her page. She confirmed again it was AI, which was then shared on the Gaming Circle Jerk subreddit, where people there would believe it if it aligned with their anti-gamer stance. If it was AI, why post it at all if you're against it? Why discredit your own words? If she mixed up the Crashout video with another Paimon AI video from a big YouTuber, how could that even happen?
Corinna, you are an absolute worthless scab and a hypocrite.
It's also ironic that some VAs support the SAG AFTRA strike against AI, but also support businesses with troubling histories. Kayli Mills, for example, was announced for the Manchester Anime and Gaming Convention run by Anime League and Michael Towers, who had a history of sexual misconduct. Meanwhile, Venti's VA, Erica Harlicker, released a diss track whom many assumed was likely aimed at Corinna. The tone-deaf bard has outdone herself herself by making this diss track. Kayli's Twitter was later compromised, but fans still remember her past tweets. But regardless, this controversy feels messed up. Do you think more voice actors will be recast in Genshin? What are your thoughts on the Genshin voice actors doing a work refusal? That is all for today. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe for more content like this, and comment your thoughts below. Thank you for watching, and that's all.